my chat. Let me take this headband off. We don't want to, like, fall asleep. Yeah, just so you guys know, if you guys didn't notice, I had a headband on. Keep the hair out of my face, but yeah, so we ordered Wendy's and, yeah, so, we ordered Wendy's, and it needs to hurry because I'm about to fall asleep. Bro, I really hope I don't fall asleep, man, before I get my food. Like, I'm fucking starving, man. But I am sleepy, so. Yeah, my Wendy's should be here in... Good job, Inspire. Yeah, let's set up the chat filter real quick. And yeah, so what we're gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna be answering questions, and we're going to be... Yeah, so I'm answering questions, and then we're gonna be watching the news. Answering questions and watching news. And I can't believe this channel is almost at... This channel's almost at 5K. This is crazy. Alright, the filter's on. Okay, so, let's switch this out. Yeah, let me track my Wendy's real quick, because, yeah, dude, if it doesn't come in, like, the next, like, 10, 15 minutes, I'm afraid I'm gonna fall asleep, because, bro, low-key, man. Maybe I should have, like, not ordered. Dude, when I get sleepy, like, it's so sudden. It's, like, sudden sleepiness. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, I mean, hopefully it comes quick. Yeah, so I have a Moid who's on the way to get my order. It's estimated in 10 to 30 minutes is crazy. What the fuck? Like, why would it Okay, 10 to 30 minutes. Hopefully it's closer to 10 minutes or I'm gonna be asleep. So... some fucking retards like, are you gonna play piano? No, I'm gonna eat my Wendy's and go to sleep. Man, like, did you guys not hear what I just said? Like, I just said that I'm sleepy, and I hope my food comes before I fall asleep. Oh, we're gonna play piano. Like, no. Like, bro, like, I'm about to fall asleep. If you guys want to watch my piano, then go watch my videos. Like, I literally, like, make all these tutorials for you guys and work really hard on them. Go fucking watch that shit. You guys aren't watching it enough. Pepe. Oh, my son. My sweet son. Okay, let's watch the news. Let's try to stay up and keep brain activity going, because I want to get to eat this before I go to sleep. So, we need to stay awake. I have had times where, like, I have, like, ordered something and then, like, hold on, I need both hands. I have had times where I've, like, ordered something and then fell asleep, so we really do need to fucking, lock in. Alright, I miss my iPad. I haven't seen my... Oh, fuck, and the iPad's almost dead. I do miss my iPad. I haven't seen my iPad in a long time. A really long time, but now it needs to charge. I thought I had it charge all day. Well, whatever. But yeah, I miss this iPad. You know, there's no specific reason I haven't, you know, used it. It's just that... Yeah, you know, it's really nothing specific. It's just that I don't know. I mean... You know, one thing I don't like about this iPad, or, like, it just doesn't really... Okay, now let's watch some news. If you guys don't know, I am busy. I'm going to be busy for the next month because I am moving... Dude, ever since I bought a house, I keep getting videos like this.
The summer 2026 housing market is over before it even started. New data is showing that home tours are dropping off a cliff, and now I'm finding sellers selling houses at $150,000 to $200,000 losses. They all told you that this was impossible. They all told you that the housing market wouldn't go down, it would go up. Folks, we're seeing this downturn get even worse now in the middle of 2026. And I want to point you to some data to prove that from a company called Showing Time. They're owned by Zillow, and they basically are a software that realtors use to book home tours. You could see in the last month and a half, the home tours are plummeting. They're down by almost a relative 35 to 40%, and you could see way below where they were last year. Fewer people booking tours to see houses means fewer home sales in the future. Additionally, data on Google Trends is showing fewer people are now searching for homes for sale, and this is all adding up to even more lackluster demand in the housing market. But what's shocking me, everyone, is just how big some of the price cuts I am seeing on the market today are getting. You know, maybe 6 months ago, 12 months ago, I was showing you houses that people were selling at $20,000 losses, $30,000 losses. Now I'm finding houses that people are selling at six-figure losses, as much as a 40% decline. Because folks, here we go. Take a look at this. This house is now on the market for $190,000. It's a three-bed, two-bath, 1,400 square feet. You can see it was recently flipped. The pictures on the inside actually look pretty nice. Well, a couple years ago, this house sold for $330,000. So that's a $140,000 loss. And you look at the Zillow value estimate, minus 48% in 2 years. And why I'm showing you examples like this, everyone, is to show you the proof, number one, that the housing market is declining. Some people out there try to tell you there is no downturn and that prices aren't dropping. Very clearly, those are lies. That's not true. You wouldn't have people buying homes for $330,000 and selling them for $190,000 2 years later if there wasn't a downturn. But number two, I also want to warn you all about what can happen if you buy a house that you can't afford at too high a price. You can lose potentially everything. You can lose your entire equity down payment. You can ruin your credit. There's another house I recently found in Texas. This house in Texas was sold as a new build for $388,000 in 2022. It is now on the market for $216,000 in 2026. That's a 43% decline, a $170,000 drop. So we have here in Atlanta, 48% drop, and then east of Dallas, we have a 43% drop.
Oh my god, are those cats? Go save the cat, you jackass!
Now, potentially, there are reasons.
Dumb bitch. Like, why would you include that in the video and not fucking save the cat?
Fighting in front of me. I've never seen that before.
You fucking
on an
stupid
on-the-ground video.
bitch.
Literally a cat fight broke out in
Fuck
front of me here
you.
on the streets of Atlanta. So maybe there's a reason prices are dropping in this neighborhood.
You
But
you
overall,
include
45%
that clip of the
declines
cats
from a couple
fighting,
years
but then you
ago.
don't fucking
that's
save the cat,
extreme.
you
That's a
dumb
crash.
bitch.
And one of the reasons
Fuck you,
why this
worthless
is
man. This is
happening
why
is a
nobody
lot of
likes you guys.
homeowners can't afford the
You guys are
payments anymore.
evil.
The payments have gone up
Like,
so
you
much
males
in
fucking
terms of
suck.
mortgage,
Like,
taxes,
fuck
and
this
insurance,
piece of
and
shit.
a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
give him a
people are
thumbs
just
down. Fucking, like, bro, like, fuck him. I'm actually not even gonna give him the watch time. Fucking piece of shit. It's like, how dare you do that? It's like, you just fucking watch the cats fight, but you don't do anything. You just fucking, oh, doop doop. Fucking disgusting. You males disgust me. Like, you guys really do. Fucking poor cat. Did you guys hear it yelling? Meow. It fucking didn't do shit. What a monster. It's like, bro, all men are bad, bro. Pizza Hut sold? What? What happened to Pizza
Welcome
Hut?
back and Alive Now from Fox. I'm your host, Anna Marsick. Pizza Hut has been a staple for decades, but some news came out this week. Take a look at that post from Reuters. Yum Brands announced it is going to sell Pizza Hut for $2.7 billion, splitting that deal between Yum China Holdings and private equity firm Long Range Capital. So this deal is worth about $2.7 billion total. Joining us right now to break down what this means for the brand, we are joined by Bloomberg restaurant analyst Michael Halen. Thanks so much for joining us here live now from Fox.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first things first, let's just break down this deal. Who are these companies that are buying Pizza Hut?
Yeah, so the Chinese business is going to be bought by Yum China, which is publicly traded
China
After in
will fix
China has
Pizza
been,
Hut.
Yum Brand's largest franchisee for quite some time. They were
That's good.
partnered
They'll
in those
fix it.
restaurants with Yum Brand, so this made perfect sense. Long Range is, a private equity fund. They've don't
No,
have
seriously,
a
like
ton
I'm
of
sure like
experience in
China's gonna do a good
restaurants,
job
but
with Pizza Hut. They'll fix
they
it.
clearly see an opportunity to turn around Pizza Hut, which has been a tough go for Yum Brands for the last decade plus.
Please save
And Yum
Pizza
Brands
Hut.
has, of course, owned Pizza Hut for a while now. So why did they decide that now was the right time to sell it?
Well, it's really the new management team. A new CEO came in, Chris Turner, and he's just more aggressive, I think, than his predecessor, right? And so they're not wasting any time to kind of re-image Yum Brands, and this was a key piece of the puzzle because it really gives their management team and their executive team, which is known to be as good as there is in the restaurant industry, a chance to focus on its primary growth drivers, which are Taco Bell, which is an absolute monster in the US and around the globe, and KFC, which is very strong internationally.
How exactly is this Pizza Hut deal being structured?
Yeah, so this is going to be a cash deal. It being private equity, I assume they're going to borrow and lever this business up. Yeah, like I said, they must see something here. But
my
the
food's almost
pizza
here. Thank
industry, especially in the
God.
United States, is very, very competitive. And Pizza Hut has had a really tough 15 plus years. Domino's turned around their business in 2010. And since then, they've been taking share, quarter after quarter, year after year, and it's really taken a chunk out of Pizza Hut's business.
Pizza Hut, before they had those buildings that were kind of shaped like the hut, and they had the all-you-can-eat pizza with the salad. Do you think when they strayed away from that business kind of declined a little bit? Are we going to see a comeback maybe of those buildings?
I think the buildings are tough because people want their pizza delivered fast and easy, and Pizza Hut was trying to convince their franchisees to open more of these smaller delivery-only stores because they make a lot more money, right? They're cheaper to build. The payback period is much shorter, and they have a stronger returns on investment, right? In my opinion, that real estate has kind of been a yoke on its neck for quite some time. I'd say the other reason why this chain has struggled was in the U.S.
Okay, now we
anyway,
have
has
a
really
problem.
been
So this
the quality,
retard.
right?
Okay, so my food's here, but this retard's like, oh, I can't get in. The concierge isn't there. It's like, bitch, figure it out. You men break into places all the time. You shut the fuck up and deliver my food. You figure that shit out. I don't care if the concierge isn't there. Figure it out, bitch. I've seen you retards on the news many times for breaking into places. The Louvre robbery. Yeah, bitch, don't tell me, oh, I can't get in. You're gonna fucking get the fuck in and deliver me my fucking food, bitch. Like, fuck you. Like, right? Like, seriously, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Ooh, good old concierge. Like, yeah, man, no, I'm not getting out of bed. You're a man. You can figure out how to fucking get it in here. You men are great at figuring out how to get into places you're not supposed to be. Men by nature. Oh wait, I think he might have actually figured it out. I think. No, that's my son Paisley. But males by nature are able to figure out how to get to places they're not supposed to be. So, yeah, literally, women never tolerate if a male delivery driver is saying, oh, I can't get in, Nah, I don't give a fuck, you're gonna figure it out, you're a man. The fuck doesn't matter if the concierge is not there, you're a man. You guys, like I said, are used to trespassing, and you do this shit all the time. It's in your DNA. You could bring it to my door, bitch. Yeah, no, seriously, yeah. This is man stuff. Oh, he made it. I told you guys. Yeah. I told you guys. See, bro, how he made it? Males by nature are always able to figure out how to get to places they're not supposed to be. So yeah, there's no concierge, and yet he figured out how to break in. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what the fuck he did. Like I said, you guys, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I'm not a man, but I know every time, like, you know, when the concierge isn't there or something, like, and I have a mail, I can't get in. It's like, I just ignore the message because I know he'll figure it out. You know, if it's a woman, it's like, oh shit, you know, I need to meet her. Because, yeah, bro, it's like, women don't, you know, it's like, if it's locked, it's locked. It's like, you're fucked if it's a woman. But if it's a man, this fucking little rat will figure it out. Men are like little rats, man. There is no fucking crack or creek they can't crawl through. I don't know how you guys do it. I have no idea, but that's just because I'm not a moid. But yeah, so that's one nice thing, or I guess this is one legitimate nice thing I could say about moids. You moids make good delivery drivers, because you guys do, you always figure out how to slip through those cracks. Doesn't matter if it's locked, doesn't matter if the concierge isn't there, you will figure it out. Why? Because you're a moid, and it's only in your DNA. Oh, locked door? It doesn't matter, you'll figure it out. Hello. Yeah, I know. It is really crazy how you guys are always able to figure out how to get in. Even if the door's locked and there's no concierge, you guys figure it out. I knew I could count on you guys. If you could break into the Louvre, if you could fucking do all these break-ins I've been seeing on the news, you could do anything. When it comes to delivering an order. So yeah, girls, next time the Moy delivery driver's like, oh, I can't get in, just fucking ignore it. They'll figure it out. Never ever get up or lift a finger when a male says he can't get into somewhere. Ah, shut the flies. Man, what the fuck? Did they not give me a potato? No. Oh my god, what the fuck? This is not what I ordered. Wait a second. Wait a fucking second. So I got a burger. I got fries, which I did not order. Where is my cookie? And I didn't get my cookies. Oh, but the fries are good. They did a good job. Bro, what the fuck is up with the no cookies? Second time. Okay, so I think they gave me a large fry instead of the cookie.
We've seen a degradation in the quality over the years. The pizza market has become way more competitive over the last 15,
Commercial
12
quality.
years, not only from the likes of Domino's and Papa John's, but also all the local mom and pop shops and all the brick oven and wood-fired oven pizza joints that we see up everywhere. So it's definitely a tough business. And then, you know, they're impacted by this K-shaped recovery. A lot of their customers here in the U.S. are low and middle income consumers, right? And inflation impacts those segments of the consumer much harder than high income consumers, and that crimps their spending. And you know, they're more likely to buy a frozen pizza at the grocery store than order Pizza Hut when times are tough.
Why do you think the sales being separated between China and all the other buildings?
Yeah, I think the real reason why is that Yum Brands wanted Yum China to own the China business. So in my opinion, that part of the deal happened first. And from there, Yum Brands most likely was on the search for someone to buy the U.S. and the European business and you know, the entire international business ex-China. So that's why I think it was split into two buyers because, you know, Yum
This is
China
so good.
is focused on that country and they're not interested in buying other international markets or the U.S.
What does this mean for consumers going forward? Do you think that there are going to be significant changes maybe in the menu or how things are operated?
You know, what I think is that quality will improve. That's the way I would approach it. I would try to improve the quality because that's how Domino's took share from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was number one in 2009, 2010, and Domino's revamped their pizza, and that started off their very strong run. So if I was running Pizza Hut, I'd be very focused on the quality of the food. Once you can get people back in the stores, then you can do more, you know, unique and limited time offers and unique offerings, and you can kind of play with the menu a little bit. They got to get the marketing right? And then once they can get sales to come back, you know, from there, you know, it's about.
And we have a baked chili potato.
And I'd have to assume it would be these smaller.
Where the fuck's my fork, bro?
Are there any other
Bitch, don't tell me they didn't give me a fork.
in the pizza game that are kind of giving Domino's a run for their money?
Alright, no, fuck this shit, man. This is why, bro.
Yeah, Domino's.
Man, fuck you, Moins. The only thing you guys are good at is breaking rules and sneaking into places you're not supposed to be at, but you guys can't follow directions, bro.
John's has done well here in the US.
Fuck you guys, dude.
You know,
And there's
they're
barely any
struggling
fucking
a
chili
bit,
on this bitch.
struggling a lot right now, and Pizza Hut has been struggling for quite some time. It's really been the regional
Yeah, dude, pizza used to be number one.
as well as the independents, the local mom and pop shops have done, you know, a nice job. Like they've increased the quality, you know, the competition by increasing the quality, providing better quality for consumers.
Just looking at that $2.7 billion price tag, does that tell us anything about maybe the strength of the current company?
Yeah, because the chain is huge. So, you know, you could probably quibble if you want to, you know, quibble about this deal. You're saying, well, they're not really getting a whole lot for Pizza Hut, but you know, to me, it's really about just getting it off the books. They're going to take 2.3 billion after tax. They're going to use it to buy back shares. They'll be able to buy back about 6% of the float. Right, and the market's going to give them a higher multiple in the market because they're going to grow the top line and they're going to grow the bottom line a lot faster without Pizza Hut. So to me, it is really addition by subtraction.
Now, looking ahead, let's say 5 years, what do you think Pizza Hut's operations are going to look like?
Alright, I need to get up and grab a fork.
It's tough to say. The restaurant business is tough, especially in the midst of a commodity bull market where low-income consumers are getting squeezed. But, you know, I would expect that long-range capital management is going to be looking to, you know, improve the quality, open more of these smaller delivery and pickup only stores, trying to close.
Yeah, Crystal, you have an ugly face. You have an ugly face and a really round belly, and you have really round piggy cheeks. You shut the fuck up, you ugly sack of shit, and you have a really fat...
Was a monster. It was a place to be. People were going there.
You have a fat nose.
You could justify paying those high rents, right? But
You have a really disgusting, ugly-shaped nose.
High rent places that, you know, you just can't justify.
You have a really small brain.
So.
Yeah, earlier this week in our newsroom when we heard this news, we were talking
We have a really
about how some of those favorites that we had when we were
empty
kids,
bank
like
account.
Pizza Hut, Hometown Buffet, like they've all closed down. Is it because that same reason where it's just you can't justify paying the high rent and stay afloat?
Yeah, listen, that's part of it. I'd say that's more of a story for the last, you know, handful of years. But just the restaurant business is so competitive, right? There's competition from everywhere, not just in the restaurant industry from other national players, but then regional players.
Dude, this is so good.
Shops. From the grocery store, right? You have restaurants basically in the store now and deli counters that are trying to take share. People are making food right out of their own kitchens and selling it in urban areas. Food trucks are all over the place. Like, this is a very, very competitive industry with competitors cropping up every day. It just makes it really difficult, And some of these chains do have an advantage. Like Pizza Hut does have an advantage with its scale, with its size. It can offer prices that a lot of the smaller competitors can't match, but they have to sell a product that people want.
Anything else about this Pizza Hut deal that we haven't talked about that you might want to touch on before I let you go?
I would just emphasize the point that Yum Brands is a very well-run company. They're Taco Bell especially, but Yum Brands as well is known for being an incubator of great talent. And with this faster top and bottom line growth, we expect this stock to get a better multiple in the market.
All right, Michael Halen with Bloomberg. Thanks so much. We appreciate you here live now from Fox.
Sure thing.
All right, it's time for us here live now from Fox to slide away for a quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back with much more for you. On the other side, I'm your host, Anna Marsick. Stay close. We're back in 2.
Dude, let me tell you guys. I might have to upgrade Wendy's to Wi-Fi. This is like crazy. I think I might upgrade Wendy's to Wi-Fi. Burger King's gonna get demoted to side bitch. The side piece. Cause yeah. Oh, also, if you don't like Wendy's, fuck you. You're a retard. Wendy's is #1, man. Fuck the news. Wendy's is #1. And if you don't agree, fuck you. JD Vance went on the Diary of a CEO.
The Biden administration just really screwed up our immigration policy in a profoundly dangerous way.
But even if you agree that immigration is a problem, it seems division is the most compelling narrative for politicians. I remember this particular quote about the black community where he said, "What do you have to lose?" I'm a black man. I feel like I've got things to lose. And my concern is when the Western narrative is that it's the brown people that are the reason that your life is hard, or like Mexicans and murderers. If I heard that from my political leaders, it's conceivable that I might be angry at my neighbor, even though they've done nothing.
Let me just say, very often what the president is accused of saying, he didn't say it, there was much greater context.
You wouldn't say
But I think, well, the president and I certainly have way different styles. But Donald Trump is much different as a human being, and the media makes him out to be.
But back in 2016, there was a private message between you and the roommate where you said Trump was either a cynical arsehole or an American Hitler. How do you go from that position to vice president of the same person? What is that journey?
A crazy journey, man. Look, I thought Donald Trump would be a failed president. He was not. I thought that America's institutions were fundamentally functioning. They were not. You always have to be able to acknowledge when you're right and when you're wrong. Like, he's so non-conventional in the way that he does everything that things that were previously unimaginable are actually on the table. This peace deal with Iran, for example.
But there's been lots of false deals.
Well, this one's real, so.
And Israel. Trump called Netanyahu a very difficult guy. What does Netanyahu want?
I don't know. All I'd say is that we're different countries with different interests.
Do you trust them?
I don't really trust anybody. But having seen the President of the United States operate, I feel quite confident that they are the junior partner, we're the senior partner. We are the world's superpower.
I'm going to take a little bit of a hard turn. Do you think aliens could be real?
I do.
Mr. Vice President, I had no idea about your earliest context. And it has informed what I've then seen from you later as an adult. But can you take me back? The emotion's still right on the surface for you.
Very much so.
This is super interesting to me. My team gave me this report.
Yeah, fuck you, JD Vance. We aren't voting for you, bitch. This is obviously, he's trying to position himself to, for the elections. And fuck you, bitch. No, we will not be voting for you.
If you are a regular viewer of the show, we like what we do here. we're approaching quite a significant landmark on this show in terms of a subscriber number. So if there was one simple free thing that you could do to help us, my team, everyone here, to keep this show free, to keep it improving year over year and week over week, it is just to hit that subscribe button and to double check if you've hit it. Only thing I'll ever ask of you. Do we have a deal? If you do it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make sure every single week, every single month, we fight harder and harder and harder and harder to bring you the guests and conversations that you want to hear.
I wouldn't vote for JD Vance even if he opened his ass and gave it away for free. I'm just joking, you guys, but yeah, no, bro, ain't no one voting for Vance, bro, even if he sold his ass, opened it and sold it. Ah!
Good.
No one's but like I'm just trying to make a point, bro, that he's not gonna be winning the election. We don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here, Vance. Fuck you, bitch. Go put on your eyeliner.
Walk out of my life. Just as I
Oh my
began.
god, that was so good though.
I always think
Go put on your eyeliner. Fuck you, stupid bitch.
Get a picture
Fucking
of that
bring
in
Kamala
context.
back.
And I had no idea.
Where is Kamala? Yeah, fuck you, bitch. Kamala will win, bitch. Kamala will fucking cook him. So fuck you, stupid pieces of shit. And fuck you, Yoga. Are you the same person?
Yeah, so-
Are you the same fucking retarded, fat, ugly piece of shit that I fucking banned? Yeah, there's a reason why you're single and your family hates you. Fuck you, stupid bitch.
I was raised in a very working class town, very working class family. You know, this is a photo of me when I was a little kid here. And my family, like a lot of other families in similar circumstances, we struggled. We struggled to adapt to middle class life. Yeah, this is my sister and my grandfather. It's interesting, my grandfather had very low formal education. He graduated from high school. My grandmother actually left school when she was 13. Very religious people, particularly my grandmother. But, you know, they struggled pretty much economically for most of their lives. My grandfather died when I was 13. I think my grandmother died when I was 20. And, you know, this is probably not even
Oh, I had a
before she
fork.
died. And I was about to go to Iraq, and she was very old and frail. And this is one of the last photos of the two of us. And this is really the woman who raised me, because you raised the revolving door of father figures. So mom, amazing person. She's been clean and sober for now 11 years. But she was in the throes of a pretty bad addiction problem for much of my childhood. And so this was kind of my savior. This was the person who stepped in and made sure I had a stable life.
But yet you're a misogynistic piece of shit. Ungrateful. Fuck you. She should have aborted you.
At that age.
Yeah, that's right. So,
But yeah, no, seriously, isn't this so frustrating how, like, literally males will, like my mom took care of me, or, oh, like, my dad left me in a trash can, and then my mom picked me out of that trash can, wiped me off, and took care of me. And then they grow up to be like, fuck woman, they shouldn't vote. They grow up to want to oppress them. It's like, you stupid, ungrateful piece of shit. Fuck you, man. It's like, yeah, bro, this is why it's a daughter or an abortion. You're disgusting. It's like, seriously. It's like, what is wrong with you brain-damaged freaks?
This Eastern Kentucky, you're talking about the hills of an extremely impoverished, very rural part of the United States of America. And so,
Backstabber.
she is dating my grandfather, who I think at the time is 16. She's 13. So these are children. She gets pregnant. They move to Ohio for more opportunity because you just couldn't build a good life for yourself. There weren't enough good jobs in that part of the world. And she had a miscarriage. So, like, the thing that brought her out of her home, I think, hastened them getting married. I don't think they would have gotten married at 13 and 16 were it not for this unplanned pregnancy. And she was kind of in it then. So they're married. They have a very chaotic marriage, an abusive marriage in a lot of ways. But they have 3 kids, my mom, my uncle, my aunt. And the story of our families in some ways.
Yeah, the food was
some of
good.
us
I
were able
fucking
to
loved
kind of
it.
break the cycle, and some of us
Wendy's is
weren't.
my new wifey.
Part of
Burger
what
King's been
we're
demoted to
focused on
side
understand
piece.
Why is it that life worked out for some of us and didn't work out
I
for
can't believe I
others?
fucked
So
up making Burger King wifey.
He
Yeah, what the fuck was I doing with my
So he did.
life?
So I was
Wendy's
adopted
was
by
wifey all
I
along.
was 5 or 6 years old.
I took
by
my
the name
side
of
piece
Robert.
Wendy's for granted.
And
So, you know,
if you look at
it's
my
wifey
birth
now.
certificate, he's still listed as my legal father.
And I won't
Now,
change my
he was in a
mind.
picture from, call it, I
Holy
was
shit, he looks
7
exact.
until
Bro,
10
he
or
looks
11.
just like his fucking dad, bro. That's
And
crazy.
then he and mom got divorced. He still stuck around for a little bit after that, but by the time I was 12 years old, he was just gone. Never talked to him again.
Ha ha, daddy
and am
issues.
I right in thinking this is
Daddy
the first time
issues.
because you're sister, Lindsay.
You don't have a dad. All right. So the reason that I would never vote for JD Vance is not only is he a fucking misogynist, but he has no dad. He doesn't have a dad. Eris, why are you hitting Molly? She's hitting Molly. He doesn't have a dad. Kamala has a dad, unlike JD Daddyless Vance. So I will never vote for a fatherless loser, Moid with dad issues. Yeah, fuck you, bitch. So anybody who votes for this loser that doesn't have a dad is a retard. Bro, not even his dad wanted him, and you're gonna vote for him? You're gonna want him for this country when dad doesn't even want him? Like, nobody knows Vance better than dad. And if dad said no, dad didn't pick him, then why would you pick him? Anyways,
Father, very good
hello,
guy.
baby
She's
girl.
5 or 6 years older than me, and so he was the first of my mother's husbands. And then my dad, my biological father, was number 2, and then my legal father was number 3. And then, you know, things sort of got a little quicker from that point forward. So there was more turnover, let's say, in the relationships at that point forward.
There was also a guy called Matt thereafter at 13 years old that your mum had met.
Yeah, good guy. Very close to him. He actually is very political. And so he and I reconnected a little bit over our shared interest in politics. But he was just a good, hardworking guy. You know, he was only around for maybe a few years, probably less than that of my life. But he was a significant and positive force.
In your book, page 124, you say living with mum and Matt, which is when you were 14 years old, was like a front row seat to the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, it was just chaotic, right? I mean, things that I thought of as normal that I later realized in, you know, talking to my wife or talking to friends, that just a level of relationship instability. You know, fighting, people throwing stuff. If the fights get really bad, some person throws a plate at somebody else. Again, it sounds, even talking about it now, kind of crazy, but it was pretty normal back then. And, you know, sometimes it was worse and sometimes it was better, but there was a sense in which relationships were always just kind of chaotic.
As an adult, you know, like you can almost imagine now that you've got so many kids yourself that
Yeah.
I can understand the feeling of craziness but being normal, and you kind of don't realize until you see into someone else's world or someone
Yes.
else hears about yours.
Yeah.
Because I can relate to that in many ways. But as an adult, you must look back on that and now see the way that shaped you.
Yeah. Well, it was very unhealthy. I certainly think, again, it was hard to sort of really feel a sense of stability. It was hard to really attach to people because you always assumed that they were going to be gone. And, you know, years later, I was actually at a conference, I was giving a speech, and this guy came up to me, and he was a child psychologist. And, you know, he said, you know, one of the things the literature shows is that people who come from traumatic or chaotic environments and end up doing pretty well, they always have one person, whether it was a teacher, a social worker, a grandparent, aunt or an uncle, they always have one person who's sort of their anchor. And that seems to be the difference for a lot of these kids. And again, I was lucky enough to have that. And I think about my life a lot of time. I mean, sitting here, I'm the Vice President of the United States. What would my life have turned out to be if you had all that chaos, which was just a background part of my life, but you take out those stabilizing forces? God knows, man.
Your
God
grandmother.
knows. My grandmother. That's right.
Because through your story, when I was reading about your childhood, she seemed like the safe place that you would retreat
Correct.
to over and over again.
You know, I was obviously, I think it's very important for boys to have male role models, to have father figures that they look up to. She was
Misogyny.
in an unconventional way, like both a mother figure and a father figure. She was extraordinarily odd. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. But she was just incredibly tough. You know, I don't know, 12, 13. I was hanging out with one of the kids in the neighborhood who was kind of going down a bad path. He actually would later spend some time in jail, but you know, he was getting into drugs, starting to smoke weed, starting to do a little bit more than that. Again, 12, 13, so we were pretty young kids. My grandmother found out, and she told me that if I kept on hanging out with this kid, she was going to run him over with her car. And then I was like kind of caught off guard by that, and she said, JD, I promise you, and no one will ever find out about it. And I was like, whoa. So like for the sake of this kid, I pretty much stopped hanging out with him. But that toughness, I think, was like a necessary part. It was like through sheer willpower that she kept me on the straight and narrow. And again, I don't know where I'd be without her.
Misogynistic piece of shit. So this how you repay your granny? Your fucking grandma's crying and disappointed.
It does. It does.
From prescription
Yeah,
drugs
the
to heroin,
granny's crying from heaven, bro.
is not just her life, but the family's life.
That's right.
Nearly making your grandparents bankrupt.
Yes. And Mom, by the way, has been clean and sober for 11 years, which is an amazing thing. But you know, when Papaw died, he was what my grandmother was for me. I sort of realized that that's what Papaw was for Mom. He was her safe place. He was her anchor. And I think she already had some addiction problems, but it just really accelerated from there. And things kind of went off the rails. And, you know, my grandparents, before my grandfather died, were trying various ways to help her. And yeah, it got worse and worse, harder and harder drugs, had a few bad overdoses. And, you know, by the grace of God, some miracle, you know, it's amazing how transformed she is. And it sort of drives home how, for some people, drugs are just, they take so much away from a human being. And she was certainly that way. And in the same way that they took so much away from her, sobriety has given her a whole lot back.
If I asked your wife
Yeah,
how this season of your life, the most formative season of your life,
sure.
has changed you, what are all the things she would say? It's funny because I remember interviewing, I think it was Michael Jordan's coach.
Okay.
And he said to me that people's dark sides and their light sides are like fundamentally interconnected.
Yes,
And I can relate.
absolutely.
But the things people might clap for or applaud about, you're also fundamentally linked to things that you struggle with or
Yeah.
that make you sometimes not the most normal person.
Yes, that makes total sense to me. I think on the dark side, what she would say is, I am an extraordinary mistrust, I think, of people that I don't know particularly well. I sort of assume the worst sometimes about circumstances and things outside of my control, but I maybe assume the best about the people themselves, right? So there's an inherent, like, sense that the world is going to fall apart. I think that's a very true
Okay, let's
thing.
watch something else. Like, I don't like JD Vance. Like, I don't like the guy. Ungrateful backstabber.
Adobe products used to feel like a safe pair of hands that always worked. You'd really struggle to complain with anything. But now they're just something else entirely, and everyone's sick of them. The software you used to buy. OpenAI
Oh,
was supposed
fuck.
to lead.
Okay.
Adobe products used to feel like a safe
Okay,
pair of
there we go.
hands that always worked.
This is
Dude,
Kevin
not
Mitnick.
again.
Adobe products used to feel like a safe pair of hands
by the
that
way, I
always
got
worked.
premium,
You'd
or I
really
got YouTube,
struggle to
what's
complain
it
with
called?
anything. But now they're just something
Whatever,
else
premium.
entirely, and everyone's sick of them.
And
the
also,
software
I got
you
something
used
to
to buy
show you
once and own
guys.
forever, you now rent by
Okay,
month
do you
at a
guys wanna
price that
see this?
climbs every
So,
year.
I got you
we
guys a
lost the
present.
tools we could
This is
trust
your
and
present.
own, and in exchange we got rising subscriptions, mandatory AI nobody asked for,
This
and
is
the
your
fee
present,
for the
guys,
privilege of
look.
leaving. But Adobe
I got
is
you guys
finally
a kitten.
getting what they deserve, caught in a death spiral where all of their greed and cynical corporate strategy
It's
are
a-
catching
it's a-
up
it's
with
a
them.
screaming
And even
kitten.
then, their CEO still claims it's never been better.
You guys are
I
welcome.
actually believe that there's going to be more
look.
opportunity for creative companies than ever before. We are an extremely profitable company and we're growing. This year, double digit.
And somehow, he's
Oh, I
exactly
love
right.
you.
Their figures are shooting through the
Oh,
roof.
I
It's
love
actually
you.
been their best year ever. A record $23.8 billion
Why are
in
you
revenue.
screaming
So
so
then
much?
why have their stocks crashed magnificently by around
Say
65% from their peak, which goes
Momo.
against the entire tech market
Momo,
boom
Momo,
right
look,
now.
look, look.
Even with record
Look, Molly.
profits, the market
Molly, look.
hates them. Well, this is because there's something much stranger going on with the company that redefined creativity for a generation. It's all just the endpoint of a process they've been orchestrating deliberately for years. You see,
I know, I
Adobe
love
used to be
you.
one of those
I
companies
love
whose
you
products
so
had everyone
much.
creating tutorials on how to do cool things in Photoshop, Illustrator,
just
or
a
After
baby.
Effects. But now, you'll
You
just
were
find
just
hundreds of
bored.
tutorials on how to cancel those subscriptions.
Bro, like my crackhead son, bro, he doesn't stop.
It looks easy, but it isn't. That's why these videos exist. Here's how the trap worked. When you signed up, Adobe steered you towards a plan called Annual Paid Monthly. It was pre-selected for you, and it looked like a simple month-to-month deal, except it wasn't. What you'd agreed to was a year-long contract, and if you tried to leave before that year was up, Adobe charged you an early termination fee, worth half of everything you had left to pay, on a basic plan that was a surprise bill of hundreds of dollars, just for the crime of wanting to stop. And the best part? That fee was hidden in fine print, tucked behind tiny icons you had to hover over to even know it existed. Then there was the cancellation itself. You didn't just click a button. You got funneled through page after page of menus, discounts, and prompts. Every step was built to wear you down until you just gave up and kept on paying. The kind of thing the industry politely calls a dark pattern, meaning a user interface designed to trick you into doing things. If you look on those how to cancel Adobe tutorials, you'll find thousands of comments from those who aren't able to, maybe because of an error or a missing button. It got so horrendous that in 2024, the government sued Adobe. The Department of Justice and the FTC accused them of trapping customers with hidden fees and a deliberately painful cancellation process, and they named 2 executives personally. So Adobe finally paid up, a $150 million settlement, all while denying any wrongdoing. But the other story is that users had something to cancel in the first place, and why? Until this, Adobe had honored one simple rule. You bought the software and it was yours. The full Creative Suite wasn't cheap, but you owned it. You could use it for a decade, and you only paid again when a new version was truly worth it. Then in 2013, Adobe killed that rule. It announced that Creative Suite 6 would be the last version anyone could ever buy outright. From now on, you didn't own Photoshop, you rented it every month forever, and the day you stopped paying was the day you lost the tools your career was built on. They gave it a warm, weightless name as if it were a gift. Behold the Creative Cloud. Overnight, a customer who paid once every few years became one who paid every single month. And once your life's work lived inside Adobe's files and formats, leaving meant incinerating all of it. The payoff was obscene. In its last year selling box software, Adobe made around $4 billion. A decade later, it pulls in over $23 billion a year. And most people badly underestimate how much more they hand over by renting it. The old Master Collection cost around $2,600, but you paid once and it was yours. The full Creative Cloud suite today costs up to $70 a month, a little over $840 a year, which means every 3 years of renting now costs you what the entire box suite used to cost to own
Just so you guys know, this is my
so
daughter.
a designer who's now paid every month since Creative Cloud landed in 2013 has actually handed Adobe well over $8,000. Or take a 40-year career. Even on the kindest possible assumption that Adobe would never raise prices again, even though this is something they've never once managed, the full suite at around $840 a year comes to over $33,000 in rent before you retire. But Adobe does raise the price, so you're probably looking at $60,000, ranging up to a grand total of $100,000 for one subscription. $100,000 just to do your job. $100,000 you could spend on a holiday or food or buying a house or raising a family. That single move became the most copied decision in modern business. Every executive in tech watched Adobe swap ownership for rent and get rich.
Alright guys, we need to reset. She's just too cute. Rejoin.